Headkrack. Kind of a little bit of a different path. You were on Ricky Smiley's show, and first of all, I'd love to know how that came about, and secondly, how did you make the transition from being on that nationally syndicated radio show to doing what you're doing now?
Okay, so being a part of Ricky Smiley Morning Show, it really was the greatest on-the-job training for what would eventually be my own show at some point or another. And I got onto that show from doing nights. It was me, two of my homies that was a part of the hip-hop community. Shout out to Super K and Keynote if they're watching this on Wi-Fi. And we were just three dudes who loved hip-hop culture a lot. We lived the lifestyle. People would see us at places that you wouldn't expect to run into people that are on the radio at, like, yo, me and you buy weed for the same person. Like, it was all those things that made us very relatable to the listeners, and we really made it a point to make our show live outside of being on the air. Like, when we would get off at night, we'd be like, hey, listen, we're gonna go to the Jack in the Box at the corner of 360 and blah, blah, blah. Meet us there in 45 minutes, we're all black. And we would treat listeners to jumbo jacks, because back then they were $1. So it was these little things, and going to the schools and talking to the kids that like built equity in the community. So it got to a point where they needed a new morning show. Steve Harvey was leaving the company for a period of time. They got Ricky Smiley. They was like, hey, we need somebody to get with this brother who's organized, understands the culture, and is and people know. And so they took me from the night show, put me with Ricky, and then we were off to the races. Fast forward a few years, we got syndicated to our first market, then more and more markets, and then we moved to Atlanta, and then we got the opportunity to do this TV show called Dish Nation, which gave us a lot more visibility in the markets that maybe we weren't on the radio at, but now like we in Colorado and you see a lady who knows nothing about the radio, but she knows me as the black guy with dreads from Dish Nation. So it was cool. It made me be in more households, but all the time I'm peeping and I'm soaking up game. Like, what does it take to lead a morning show? What are some of the things you have to deal with from not only a talent level, but the things you got to deal with corporate? Because you're going to deal with corporate at some point. So, so you're just studying and studying and studying. So when the opportunity came for me to get my own show, it was like The Cosby Show, and I got the spinoff, A Different World. You know what I'm saying? And I inherited all these syndicated markets that, it was like, yo, we're gonna stick with your show because you're you, and we just loved how you put it down. So I was really blessed to fall into that opportunity. But like my man was saying, what he was saying, I did the work. You gotta do the work. The work, if you don't do the work gonna do you. So never take your foot off the gas.